All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about how to craft those short, punchy visual stories, the ones that don't just get a passing glance, but actually make people stop scrolling and feel a real human connection. So let's start with a really honest question. Have you ever been ghosted? You know that feeling? You think you're connecting with someone, everything seems to be going great, and then poof, just sudden, unexplained silence. It's an awful feeling, isn't it? Well, here's the thing. A ton of the content we put out there is doing that exact same thing to our audience. It just fails to connect, and then it vanishes into the endless feed, leaving people feeling, well, nothing at all. And that right there is the huge problem we're going to tackle. And this really gets to the heart of the modern creator's challenge. This isn't just about fighting for likes or views anymore. It's a much bigger, much deeper battle against this constant feeling of digital disconnection we're all swimming in. So, what are we really up against? This number, 8 seconds. That is the average human attention span online right now. And just to put that in perspective for you, it is now officially shorter than the attention span of a goldfish. I'm not even joking. That is the reality we are creating in. And you see, when we fail to capture that tiny window of attention, we are, for all intents and purposes, ghosting our audience. And ghosting isn't just some casual slang. Psychologically, it is the ultimate silent treatment. It triggers these very real, very raw feelings of rejection and uncertainty, and it undermines our basic human needs to feel connected and competent. It actually hurts. Okay, so how do we fight back? How do we stop being the ghoster? Well, the secret weapon is a storytelling principle that is as old as time. It's something that can take your audience on a really powerful emotional journey, even if you only have a few seconds to do it. And honestly, this roller coaster analogy is just perfect. A great story is never a flat, boring line. It's a series of carefully designed emotional ups and downs that hooks the viewer in and keeps them strapped in for the entire ride, right to the very end, right? This emotional roller coaster usually follows that classic 3-act structure. It kicks off with a setup, where you introduce a problem that's so relatable your audience immediately thinks, yep, that's me. Then you hit them with the confrontation, where the tension really builds. And finally, you give them the resolution, that satisfying ending that makes them feel like their time and attention were rewarded. And here's the best part. You do not need some big, epic, complicated plot. A truly powerful story can be built around one single emotionally charged moment. I mean, just look at this image. It tells a whole story about connection, about awe, without a single word being spoken. That's the kind of power we're aiming for. Okay, theory is great, but let's get practical. Let's open up the Creator's Toolkit and break down the specific, data-backed tactics you need to craft your own little masterpiece in 15 seconds or less. 1.5 seconds, that's it. That is literally all the time you have to hook your viewer before they even have a chance to read a caption. Your opening visual has to be a pattern interrupt. It needs to create that immediate spark of curiosity that just stops their thumb dead in its tracks. Now, what about the perfect length? The data is super clear on this. For entertainment-focused short videos, there's a definite sweet spot right between 7 and 15 seconds. And you want to know why? Because that is the magic window that gets you the highest completion rate and the most total watch time. Two key signals that the algorithm absolutely loves. 85%. Let that number sink in for a second. A staggering 85% of video on social media is watched with the sound off. So what does that tell you? It means your visual storytelling, and especially your on-screen text, have to do all of the heavy lifting. Captions aren't just a nice to have, they are absolutely essential. And that means you have got to avoid these common retention killers at all costs. A slow opening, pacing that just drags, a hook that overpromises and underdelivers. These are all basically trapdoors in your story. They are exit points where you're just begging viewers to bail. All right, let's level up for a second. What if you could create that deep, meaningful connection without ever using a single spoken word? That, my friends, is the art of the speechless narrative. Now, this might sound completely backward, but to tell a powerful, wordless story, you have to start with words. A detailed script acts as the hidden foundation. It's the blueprint that makes sure every single visual cue, every little sound, is meticulously planned to carry the emotional weight of your story. So, these are the tools animators use to guide our emotions with such precision. The right color and lighting can set a mood instantly.
A simple sound effect can punctuate a key moment and make it feel huge. And visual metaphors can be incredibly powerful, like, say, stretching the background to visually show the emotional distance growing between two characters. It's pure, direct, emotional communication.
And so this brings us all the way back to our core question. The goal here isn't just to fill the feed. It's about using all these tools, the emotional arc, the data-backed tactics, the art of the speechless narrative, to turn a fleeting moment of attention into a genuine human connection. So the next time you create, ask yourself, am I just making more content or am I building a real connection?